Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's office hours, navigating your ISMT membership. We're really glad to have you here. So we just wanted to, since we do kind of have a small group, I thought we'd just start with some introductions, just so you can get to know everyone. I'm Meghan McDevitt. I'm a managing editor with Origin Editorial. I'm based in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm the immediate past president of ISMTE. And I'll toss it over to Stephanie, my co-host.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. I'm Stephanie Kinnan. I am the senior managing editor at the American Society for Gastrointestinal Endoscopy. Been there for about 10 years now, but I also live in Cincinnati. Yeah, I've been involved with ISMT for those whole 10 years. Most recently, I've just taken on the chair of the membership committee position.
I'm Sven. Oh, sorry. I was going to jump in. So I'm Sven Molter. I'm senior product manager at PLOS, Public Library Science, and current president of ISMTE. And just been involved for a long time. I've kind of worked through different committees, from the program committee, the workshop committee. It's just great to be here. So thanks for joining. And I'll pass over to Kevin.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kevin Jewett. I'm a program coordinator for publications, data, and statistics. It's a mouthful at the American Geophysical Union. I'm also based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We are taking over. And I'm the chair of the Early Career Committee. I've been involved with ISMTE for 3 or 4 years now. And I'll pass it on to Adriana.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adriana Borgia. I'm a managing editor at the American Society for Microbiology. Let's see, I think I've been involved with ISMTE since 2018, so not as long as others, but still just long enough to know what a great organization it is. I'm currently the vice president and the chair of the North American Planning Committee. I'll pass things over to Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Fletcher. I'm the assistant managing editor for gastroenterology with AGA, and I've been a member of ISMTE as long as I've been with AGA, which is about 17 years. And I have served on the membership committee for the past year. And I'll pass it to Becca.
Hi, I'm Becca. I am actually an editorial assistant for ASGE, so I report to Stephanie. And I just started this position in January, so I'm new, and I'm also new to ISMT. So yeah, I'm excited to learn more about it. And I think Donna's the last person.
Hi, everyone. I'm running tech. My name is Donna Blake Weems. I am the executive director of ISMTE. I'm so pleased to be with this group now in my 4th year. Clearly not as experienced as all the people you have here, so I'm going to punt it back to them because they know what they're talking about.
Thanks. And actually, we just had Neat join us. Hi, Neat. We were just doing some introductions, so not to completely put you on the spot, but if you would like to introduce yourself, we were just finishing that up. She's connecting to audio. Yes. Oh, you're on mute.
It says you're connected, but it's still on mute.
Triple mute. Yeah.
Well, we have a couple polls just to get us started. So Donna, do you want to launch the first poll, and then Neat will come back to you? Okay. So it looks like everyone responded to the poll. And so the question was, why did you become an ISMT member? So it kind of looks like the majority was all of the above, which was networking and connecting. And then the other options were like education materials and resources and professional development. So that's great. So glad to have you here, and love to welcome you to this great organization. And then we had one more poll.
It's disappointing what my answer is here. We need to add like a 30 to 40, 50 to 60. That way I'm not all the way at the tail end of it.
So yeah, we kind of got a wide variety here. Brand new to the industry to kind of 12 years or more. So that's great. Cool. All right. Okay, so I will turn it over to Stephanie to go over the member benefits.
Great, yes, thank you. So I just wanted to share a few resources that I think are really great that that was going to be my first one I talked about, the ISMT provides, but then I would love to throw it to the group to talk about some more resources that have been beneficial to you. First and foremost, closest to my heart is EON. So our publication for ISMTE, I worked on that for years, eventually becoming the editor-in-chief. And then last year was chair of the editorial board. Meghan has also been on the editorial board, and before that was editor-in-chief of EON as well. So that's just a fantastic resource that I've just always enjoyed reading throughout the years, even before I became editor-in-chief of the publication. Of course, there's our resource library, which is, if you're not using that, that is a great collection of articles, instructional guides, as well as best practice documents on all things scholarly publishing. And then for people who are more virtual or visual people, we do archive all of our webinars and past conference sessions. So those are good things to just check out if you're looking for a certain topic, see if it's been covered in the past, if people have discussed it in the past. And then we just saw from the poll that people are very much interested in the networking opportunity. So I'm very excited that we are going back in person for the conference this year, which is going to really afford a lot of people opportunities to network, to meet their peers. And that's your chance to talk about the day-to-day things that are going on in your journals and see what's going on in other journals. You also get that opportunity throughout the year in the discussion forum. So if anybody's not taking advantage of that, I highly recommend. Anytime I have a question that I don't know the answer to, or an experience that has come up that I think somebody else might have dealt with, I shoot that question over the discussion forum and usually get some kind of help with that. And then the final thing I just wanted to mention is the professional development. I know most of you are in some way involved with ISMTE committees already, but that has been a really amazing opportunity to grow, learn the field, as well as kind of pad my resume. So there's these professional development opportunities, I think, look really good at future job opportunities as you move forward in your career. So I think, I would just highly, recommend volunteering if you're not volunteering. I do want to open it up to the group a little bit and see if there's any additional resources or benefits that they want to talk about.
So, I think for me, like the vendor breakouts at the actual meeting itself is so helpful because you can kind of like learn about the different vendors in the industry. You can also kind of compare and contrast super easily. It's just been so helpful. Participating in the committees has been incredibly helpful because I've met a lot of people. And so I just feel like I have a better awareness of what's out in the industry, which has helped me in conversations like at work, and all the other things that we mentioned as well. Those are some of the big.
Anybody have any other thoughts on what they've found useful?
Yeah, I put a link in the chat. I like in the resources library. I really do like the reporting resources. Those are really helpful for me when I was creating an entire SOP for my organization on how we can, between our 15 different journals, make sure that we're all running the same reports in the same way, in the same parameters. So that was a really great resource to help with sort of setting that up. There's a lot of really good stuff in that resource library. I think that they're all like really hidden gems that we kind of forget about, but there's really good stuff in there.
Yeah, I think people often overlook the website in general. You know, we get the newsletter throughout, like, or you know, it comes into your inbox, your email, and you scan through it and you look if there's anything useful to you. But I think people forget to just go back to the website when you need a resource. You know, it's like something comes up that's an ethical concern, you go and check to see what COPE says about that. Well, if there's something that's coming up with the editorial office or a problem that you haven't encountered before, you can just go and search the library and see if somebody's dealt with that before. Great. Well, thank you guys for that. Those are good additional points. It looks like we do have an additional person joining, and I don't know if we want to maybe pause for a second and let me and welcome Dominic introduce themselves. You know, are you able to get back on audio or no?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
Yes, great.
Yeah, it was the wrong browser. I was just like, you know, and it's like technical issues. So I'm Juanita Goosens-Roach, or Neat, and I work for Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Are we doing like whole intros, like what we do and how we came about to us? Yes, Sven's nodding. So I'm the peer review group manager for Cambridge University Press and Assessment. In brief, I manage 11 line reports. Some of those are editorial assistant, managing editors, assistant editors who, like some of you on the line, handle journal processing, journal relations, etc. And the other group that I manage is the online peer review system services unit, basically those who build and maintain the sites that we use for the 375 and growing list of journals that we publish. Are also responsible for external vendors that we use for comparable editorial assistant services that we use. In terms of my involvement with ISMTE, I've been involved since 2017, where I attended a European conference. My line manager at the time suggested I go, and just fell in love with ISMTE from then. I presented at 2019 European conference in Oxford, and I've hosted a couple of office hours. I think January was my thing until this year, where I didn't have one. But it was amazing. It's like these office hours, just amazing experience to interact with fellow ISMTE members. And I was on the virtual planning event committee for 2022 for the virtual event that we had, arranging a number of sessions there. So I think that's me in a very small, brief nutshell. And I've been in manuscript processing, journal administration and peer review and publishing for 20 years now, just celebrating 10 years with Cambridge in January. Which I get a free cake and coffee next time I'm on site. So I'm going to wave my ID card and get the biggest slice of cake and the biggest coffee I can possibly get.
Great, thank you. It looks like we lost Dominic. He says he's on multiple meetings. So I'll go ahead then and throw it back to Megan. She's going to give us a little bit of information about the website.
This is a perfect segue over here. So Stephanie did mention the website, so I was just going to do a very brief tour of you know, just kind of highlights like what I go to when I'm looking for things, and how you can kind of leverage the resources and different things on the website to make your experience and you know, really get all that you can get out of your member benefits. So I'll just briefly go through kind of these tabs along the top and then also highlight some other features like the Career Center and the search feature. The About Us, kind of if you're interested in learning about, the history of the society, we have information about our leadership, our committees and our committee chairs and our board of directors members. The committees page lists all of the committees who are active, and you can kind of click through, see who all of the committee members are, see who the chair is, and learn a little bit more about what each committee does. And if you are interested in getting involved, we do have a volunteer form that we ask you to fill out, and then you can select which committee you'd be interested in participating with. So that's kind of where you can find out about some volunteer opportunities. The Join has information about our member benefits and how to join if you're not already a member. I think everyone here is a member already, but feel free to share this page with people who you think are interested in becoming members if they are not one already. And then, of course, the Resources tab is really important, and we kind of have it broken up and organized into kind of some large sections, and then you can click on each of these sections and it collates all of the resources we have related to those topics. So I think like reporting, the one Adriana mentioned earlier, if we go to the reporting, then we can kind of see all of the resources and materials that ISMTE has related to reporting. So yeah, there's a lot of information on the website, so it does take a little bit of digging, but there's tons of resources, there's templates, there's tips and tricks, best practices, anything you need to run your editorial office and get input on. You don't have to start from scratch. There's information here for you to help you in your day-to-day work. The Events tab is also really important. This is where we have our community calendar. So we post not only ISMTE events, but also events from our kind of peer organizations, such as EASE, the European Association of Science Editors, which is we're our sister organization with EASE, as well as other peer organizations like Council of Science Editors and other similar organizations that you might be interested in. But this is where you will find out about all sorts of upcoming events, especially with ISMTE. And I know Kevin will talk a little bit later about the upcoming early career virtual happy hour. And then, of course, we have our conference scheduled in July in Pittsburgh this year. And then Members tab has, again, information about member benefits, but also other things related to members and your membership, such as our annual rewards, and then again, a link to that volunteer form if you're interested in getting involved. Member search is also really helpful if you're looking, maybe you met someone at a webinar or an event and you're looking to connect with them. You can definitely search them and see if they're a member with ISMTE and reach out to them there. And then the Career Center is also a really important, and I find, really useful if you're searching for, jobs or, someone searching for jobs, you can direct them to the Career Center. And it does kind of collate jobs in the industry that ISMTE members might be interested in. And then finally, the search item, the search button at the top, you can really search any keyword. That's probably pretty broad, but you can kind of search, and then any content on the website related to your search term will pop up. So that's often how I find a lot of the things I'm looking for. It does pull in conversations from discussion forum, as well as sometimes it'll link to EON articles as well. So yeah, that's really briefly website in a nutshell, but it is a great starting place. The main page has kind of these main links, again, to EON, resources, events, and volunteer information, which are kind of like the main kind of starting points if you're just getting involved with ISMTE. So definitely be sure to check out the website. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for all of the information. you might need. Okay. All right, Stephanie, back to you.
Yeah, so just to jump off of that, I want to review a little bit about profiles on the websites. I'm just going to share my screen as well here. So everybody has a profile once you're a member, but one thing that I really like to do is every year when I renew my membership is to review my profile and make sure that everything is up to date and see if I have any other additional information I want to add there, because these profiles are available to other members so they can get to know you and connect with you. Just going to managing profile, you can get to your profile where you can edit. You can see that you can post things. You can go to your bio, and this is, I'm gonna go to edit, and this kind of gives you, if you've kind of ignored this information in the past, it's great to fill this out so people know where you're located. They know what type of work you're doing, you know, what society or company or whatever you work for. You can also talk about how long you've been in the field and your things that you use, like the manuscript management system. So you can connect with other people who might be dealing with the same issues as you. You also have the opportunity here to put things that you're interested in ISMTE, and they will reach out to you when they have openings. So here, you know, you can see that I've obviously been very interested in EON in the past. I attend local group meetings. I am part of the membership committee, and I'm really interested in professional development. And so those things, you know, are just good indicators for what other people might connect with you on. And then you can also put in your other organizations that you are involved with to maybe find some people who overlap with you. And Megan's touched on this a little bit, but what you can actually do once you get your profile finished is you can connect with other people in the membership. So by going to member search, you know, if I wanted to just find somebody to, you know, to network with or connect with, I might say Cincinnati because I'm from Cincinnati. And then look what pops up. Well, there are two other people who happen to be on this call right now that are also in Cincinnati. So then that would be a good way for me to reach out to them and say, hey, I know we're all kind of in the same industry. I wanted to get your thoughts on, you know, networking in Cincinnati for scholarly publishing. So that's just a great way to kind of connect with people. And you can see, I'm going to pick on Kevin for a second. You can see that I'm able to see his profile. I'm able to see his bio. I'm able to see where he works and what kind of journal he's in. He's in science, I'm in medicine, so we might have some things in common. We do use different management systems, but if we were thinking about switching our management system, he might be a good person to ask about. And I can see what other interests he has that we might overlap on. And that's kind of just an overview of doing your bio and kind of why it's important and why we want to keep that information up to date. Now that I have picked on Kevin, I do want to throw it over to him because I do want him to talk a little bit about one of his big interests, which is the early career committee.
Sure. Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, so I'm the chair of the Early Career Committee, and our whole focus is, you know, engaging with early career members of ISMTE, finding out what kind of information would be valuable to early career members, kind of collecting that information and sharing it, hosting events, both, you know, educational and networking events. Meghan mentioned that we have a happy hour coming up in the next couple weeks. What is it? March 12th. Am I looking at old events? I think it's March 12th. There's a 13th, March 13th. And it's just gonna be, thank you. It's just gonna be like a social hangout. We're gonna have some trivia, some games, and we're gonna talk about the kinds of things we would like to see at the North American Conference, and just kind of pick the brains of early career members, because early career members who get involved with ISMTE are going to be the leaders of the organization, years down the road. So we also have on the website, we have our own discussion forum that is early career focused. We talk about the events that we're having, and it's a great place to ask questions for, if you're maybe not comfortable with like throwing it out to the whole organization, or, maybe it's an early career focused question. It's a great place to ask. It's a very welcoming environment. I mean, much like all of ISMTE, but sometimes you just want to talk to your peers and not necessarily everyone. Yeah, so that's really what we're up to. A couple of our past educational events, we have some that we call 101 series. They've been office hours or webinars, and we kind of talk about the very basics that you need to get started or understand topics. So we've done peer review, we've done the editorial office, we've done the production office, just kind of talking about some of the processes and the very basic stuff. So let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, it's a great committee. We do a lot of we try and do like 5 or 6 events a year, which is a lot, but we love to be, engaged with membership. And it's been a really cool opportunity. I joined when I was early career myself, and it was a great place to feel like ISMTE was hearing my voice as an early career person, and to give me kind of those leadership opportunities early in my career. So yeah, I think that's all I have on early career, unless there's any questions.
Great. Well, thank you, Kevin. And I think we want to invite Adriana to tell us a little bit about what's going on with the North American Conference.
Oh yeah, so very exciting this year. The past few years or so, we've had global virtual events, which again have been very successful in that it's been great to collaborate with the other parts of ISMTE, so not just North America, but also Europe and Asia Pacific. And that was like, I think overall, these past 3 years have been a great experience, and we've done virtually very well. That said, I know we've heard from a lot of our members that while they have appreciated the virtual content that we've provided and the accessibility that it provides, it doesn't completely give us that in-person experience. It's still, when you go, the experience of being in person and talking with fellow colleagues and meeting new people and just having those sort of in the moment, spur of the moment discussions with others. So we made the decision to do in person for the first time since I think 2019. And it's going to be at the beautiful Omni William Penn in Pittsburgh. It's a absolutely stunning hotel. Has got a lot of 1920s vintage vibes going on. It's a very unique space, and the city of Pittsburgh itself, it's walkable, it's friendly, there's a lot of cool things to do. I know it's been in your newsletter, you listed a whole bunch of stuff, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So we're really trying to focus the program around sort of themes about reconnecting, refreshing, and sort of finding a lot of it, making it, of course, having some traditional conference content, but also really finding ways that we can have fun together, because that's the purpose of in person is to really have those connections. And so yeah, so we're in the early stages, finalizing the schedule. But the thing that I do love about being on this committee for, oh gosh, I think at least the past 3 or 4 years now, again, just the opportunities to meet new people, again, not just within the committee, but also the speakers. So it's kind of a cool way to reach out to people in the industry that you might have been nervous to approach previously, but because you have a reason and an ask, it makes it a little bit easier to sort of have that interaction. But it's also a cool way too to interact with other committees within ISMTE. So again, hoping to be working a lot more with Kevin on the early career committee to see how we can have some kind of collaboration on a session or some other activity. And also, of course, the workshop committee, they'll be also doing an in-person workshop the day before the meeting. So making sure that, you know, whatever we're doing and they're doing has a connection. So again, cannot say how excited I am for everything that's going to be coming. It's much for it's going to be a lot of work, but it's also just going to be, it's nice to be able to see people in person again.
Great, yeah, thank you for that. I think we want to open it up now to questions, or Megan, did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up before we do that?
No, I was, yeah, thinking the same. Open.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions about, well, basically anything we talked about today about membership resources, about the conference or the early career committee, we're happy to answer those now. I do have one question that I wanted to ask, if no one has a question, a burning question right now. I wanted to ask Kevin, how he got involved in the early career committee, because he's kind of taken that and run with it.
Yeah, sure. Always happy to talk about it. So, you know, when I started in scholarly publishing, I think I actually ended up joining SSP and maybe CSE before ISMTE. They were just kind of what my manager was involved in, and you know, I was attending meetings, and I didn't feel like it was actually that relevant to my day-to-day work. And then at some point, I went to an ISMTE thing, which I think was the 2021 version of this St. Patrick's Day happy hour. And I just remember the conversation, you know, whereas we're just hanging out, being much more related to the things I was doing every day. You know, processing manuscripts and, you know, dealing with editor conversations and that sort of thing, and less on the high-end publishing stuff, which I was not involved with at any point. So, you know, I then kind of transferred my memberships over to ISMTE and started, you know, attending events. And the chair of the committee at that time, Mary Kay Cornegay, who's no longer the chair, but she, you know, I put in that I was interested, and she reached out, and you know, I don't know how many committee meetings people have on their calendars, but you know, the early career committee meeting, I'm like, oh yeah, it's early career committee time. Like, I don't know any other committee meetings where I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to go talk to those people about what we're doing. And you know, it started out like that. And then, you know, since I served as vice chair a little while ago, or a couple of years ago, and then moved into the chair role. And it's been a really great learning experience because I've never chaired a committee before. So just having that great environment to kind of learn and develop it has been awesome. And I think the early career committee is just a really special place to develop those skills. Like, we're working for early career ISMTE members, but we're also developing the members who are part of our committee and in our leadership.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's great that you said that you were just excited to meet with these people, because that's kind of how I feel about like local groups, because I've been involved with local groups since I started with ISMTE back in Chicago. And I think it was Megan was working with me. I think it was in my second or third day on the job. I think you basically just, our boss basically just said, you are going to this after hours event. And kind of, I had no idea what I was doing, no idea what it was, but I kind of just was dragged there, and it was fantastic. A lot of other like-minded people. So local groups have been like a really good thing for me, and did that all while I was in Chicago, and then found it again in Cincinnati. So we do have local groups all over the country, actually all over, I mean, it's an international society. So I would say seek out a local group. You can connect with people on the website. If there is not a local group near you, go ahead and start one. That's what happened in Cincinnati. We realized that there was a handful of us that were here, and now we have a local group here. So you can definitely start one where you are if there's not one already. Are there any other questions or just thoughts about ISMTE that people want to give?
I'm just glad everyone's here. It's a good
I mean,
place.
Yeah, just to echo what Kevin said, I mean, getting involved in a committee, there's a lot of really great translational skills and learnings that you get from this, because number one, it's an opportunity to work with people from different organizations and sort of learn what other people are doing, but you're able to sort of take that skill of during a committee or even just organizing meetings and herding cats, and that's a really great thing to put on a resume, or even if you're looking to have a different job, or even if you're within your current role, if you don't have those opportunities to grow in that way, you're able to use volunteering and these skills to sort of further your own self-growth. And that's what I found to be truly valuable.
Just want to echo that, because it's like such an easy way to differentiate yourself. Like, it's like, hey, I'm doing this thing. It's part of the industry. It's helping edify me, but also the organization that I work for. And not everyone does that. And it's like such an easy, friendly way to like get ahead, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, the skills building is, I think, really important. Yeah. In the past, we had like a rebrand, and I was part of the task force or committee that did the rebrand. And I have no marketing or graphic design or branding, background or expertise, but we worked with an outside company that, did that. And it was really fascinating. And I got all sorts of kind of new skills and just information that I did not know before about building a brand and marketing and how, and that was a good thing for me to expand my skills, but also was promoting the organization and refreshing our look and updating the website and that sort of thing. So it's a way to get skills that you wouldn't necessarily get in your day-to-day job, which I then think ties directly into career growth and different opportunities. Every job I've gotten since my first job was directly 100% related to someone I knew through ISMTE and like the connections I've made over the years. So that for me has been really crucial and a really important part of being involved with this organization.
Yeah, I like how the committees here are like, whoever is already on them will work with you to get you up to speed. I joined the industry partnership committee last year. I have no experience with like sponsorships and like funding for things. And Phaedra Kress, who's chairing that, is just walked me through it and said, this is how this works. Let me know if you have any questions. And it's been a great learning experience. And if that comes up later in my job or career, I will have experience now because of ISMTE. And I will also say that through ISMTE, I did get a job that Meghan used to have. So great, there are great connections that you can make. And I'm passing along open positions to people I've met at ISMTE saying, hey, we have an opening. I know that this might suit you. So, there's always a chance to pay it forward.
Any other thoughts or questions? Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap up a little bit early then, but I really appreciate everyone joining for this discussion. I think it's a lot of good information, and I'm glad to hear that people have been involved with ISMTE and are getting a lot of benefit from it.
Thanks so much for leading us through this. Yeah, it's good to see everyone.
Yeah, great to see you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Hopefully
everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next time.
We had next quarter, we'll have another one. So we'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Have a good one.
Bye.